Welcome. You're watching Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life, with your host, Danny Pabone and Rifle Scudder.
France's record point scorer for the title. He's got it.
Welcome to Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life. As always, I'm joined here by my friend Rifle. Rifle, how are you doing, sir?
A little bit sad today, Danny. Not having any Six Nations games coming up for another year. After such an exciting Six Nations, I don't know what I'm going to do on the weekends now. I'm going to have to watch replays of the Springboks World Cups or something like that. So, yeah, but other than that, we're doing good, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. You just mentioned, wow, what an amazing weekend of rugby we had this past weekend. France being champions again, 2 consecutive years. I mean, everybody picked France to win. However, what played out was way better than what I thought was going to happen. And a lot of people are just saying, Rifle, that this may be one of the greatest Six Nations to ever been played. Just reading, have a list here so I don't get it wrong. Record tries 111 for this 2026 Six Nations. LBB having another great Six Nations with 9 tries over the tournament, 18 in total in his career. He's only 22, and I believe the record is 26, if I'm not mistaken. So he could break that record in the next couple of years easily.
Yeah.
And then Wales having their first win in 3 Six Nations tournaments. So that was a huge win for Wales as well. So let's get right to it, Rifle. I remember Rifle mentioning in our last episode, telling Scotland, I should say, hey, Scotland, come on, you got to win to make that last week very interesting. And that they did. So in round 4, we have Ireland over Wales. As everybody can see here, the second game, Scotland over France. And if you're new to rugby, Six Nations is a tournament that occurs between the Six Nations of Ireland, Scotland, Italy, Wales, France, and England. And it's a huge set of matches that the whole rugby world, I should say, anticipates every year. And what a Six Nations we had this year, 2026. And that Scotland over France game was huge because if France would have won, beat, I should say, Scotland, then France probably would have won the championship. The last week would have been a wash because everybody would know that France are the champions. So the last week still would have been great rugby, but everybody essentially would know that France was the champions again. However, Scotland beating France in round 4 threw a curveball into France's game plan for the Six Nations, and that last week, round 5, was wow! What an amazing Super Saturday we had on this past weekend.
Most definitely, yes. We were talking at the beginning of the Six Nations because of the way England played last year and how they ended the autumn series, that they were definitely in with a chance, and we were looking forward to Super Saturday having France and England playing the very last game, and that was going to be the decider of the competition and who won that game. And poor England got slapped around silly this time, and they won one game against Wales, the very first game, and that was the last victory they had. So it turned out very, very differently than what was expected. Ireland came very, very close because of what happened previously. So Ireland were in with a chance after Scotland beat France. And if the French had lost to England, then, Ireland would have been the winner. So just what's the word? Is it permutations? What's that word where there were so many things that could have happened and so many teams that could have won. And if this team lost by so many points, and, once again, it's one of those where not everything is in your own hands, and that's not where you want to be.
Mhm.
So for Ireland, they did what they could do. They lost the game. There we have 27-17 against Wales. Wales, I think, leading there for a time. Wales playing really, really good there. And on the last day, Ireland had to beat Scotland, which they did. Scotland could have also been in with a chance if they had beaten Ireland, and Ireland waiting then. And if England had thrashed or beaten them by a bonus point, then Ireland could have, so it was just right down to the very last whistle, literally to the very last whistle. We can talk about that later. England celebrating just a little bit early. Man, it was one of my favorite, if not the best, Six Nations that I can remember watching. So I thoroughly enjoyed every game. Just everything that happened from the first kickoff to the last minute was just really, really good. So wonderful competition, Six Nations, well done. Northern Hemisphere rugby looks very, very healthy. It's going to be very interesting late in the year when North versus South once again, but Ireland definitely coming back. We were saying maybe they look a little bit washed out after what happened last year and, losing a couple of players. But the new players that they brought in just absolutely stepped up to the plate. They did so well. So Ireland looking renewed and refreshed. Wales coming back with a win over Italy there, almost, making a spectacle against Ireland, and just new vigor in the team and new vision and game plans and things like that. So really, really good. And then obviously Italy just beating England at week 4. I mean,
Mhm.
just what a team. So the Northern Hemisphere is definitely in a very healthy position at this stage, which makes me, as a Southerner, very scared.
Yeah, yeah. And again, just coming from a American football background, following it for about three decades now. It's very interesting. Again, if you're new to rugby, how rugby essentially is divided between northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, and for those who don't know, Rifle is home country is South Africa, currently the number one team in the world of rugby. Although because of the Six Nations, probably, and this is just because of point system, maybe France is number one, and that's just because they play the Six Nations. I actually didn't check the rankings, so I may be speaking out of turn. But South Africa ranked number one in the world, and it's just Italy that Italy over England. The first victory for Italy over England in the history of the game. So I can't imagine the Italian team, the coach, how thrilled they were to have that win. And just circling back to that Scotland and France game in round 4, Rifle, is this game, well, it's 50-40, but if you were to watch the first 3 quarters of this game, at minute 65, this game was 47-14 with 15 minutes left in the game. So that means France scored 26 points in the last 15 minutes of the game. And that just goes to show you, when France wants to put the scoring on, they could turn it on with a flip of the switch. They turn their scoring on. And there's some talks, just, you know, over the last 2 games, France giving up 96 points over the last 2 rounds. So, you know, there was talk about their defense, wasn't great. over these last two rounds. But nonetheless, they're the champions, beat England. And we'll talk about that game in a second here. Very interesting how that game ended. Wales, again, having their first win in three Six Nations. I think believe the last win was in the Six Nations was in February of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been quite a ride for Wales in the Six Nations over the past few years. So yeah, I mean Ireland, like you said, winning and becoming, you know, we won't get into the history between Ireland and England. This is not a history podcast, but Ireland fans cheering on England. You don't find that too many times in sports or in politics or anything for that matter. But Irish fans were English fans for a couple hours on Saturday, but France were able to pull off the victory and you know somewhat, well, I'm not gonna say controversy, but on that last kick, France getting a penalty kick with essentially at the end of the game, they were down 1 point. They make the penalty kick, and they are crowned the 2026 Six Nations champions. So yeah, what an amazing tournament it was, and for those Irish fans with literally 15 seconds left in the game, literally 15 seconds left in the game, thinking we are the champions, and then the ref raising his hand, giving a penalty to awarding a penalty, I should say, to France, and the rest is history. So, wow, wow, wow! What a round five that was.
What I would like to know is how much Guinness or any beer for that matter was partaken of on Saturday, because it being St. Patrick's weekend, the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, Ireland in with a chance. And as you say, 15 seconds before the game's finished, they believe they're the winners. So they must have been celebrating. Wales having their first win in 3 or 4 years, they must have been celebrating. Italy having lost to Wales, they must have drowned their sorrows. And then England thinking, oh, 15 seconds before the game, they won this game. They came back. Everyone said they're so bad they could never stand up to France. They must have been drinking some pints as well. And then France winning. So what a Saturday of rugby it was. So that's one question I'd really like to have answered. How much beer was sold on that Super
Yes.
Saturday? That must be a record.
Yeah, especially in Ireland, it must be the record for Guinness sold, Guinness beer sold. I'll be shocked if Saturday doesn't hold the record for the amount of beer sold in Ireland. And then after the game, they had to drink more beer to bury their sorrows.
Yeah.
So there was I'm sure, a lot of beer drinking on Saturday in the rugby world. Wow.
Yeah.
So just to cover a few things, a few plays, I should say, over rounds 4 and 5. So in round 4, we have Scotland versus France game here. And let me just make this bigger for the audience here. So again, with my American football background, I chose this play because this is a play that you see, well, not often, but a few times, probably 2 or 3 times a game in the American football NFL game, and it's called a reverse jet sweep. So let me just play for all you American football fans. You probably know what that is. And if you're not a fan of American football or rugby, let me just play here the play here. So we have the ball coming out, and they show a close up of this play. Try score it. So from the aerial view, you probably did not see that, but now they're gonna show a close up here of the play. So we have the ball coming out, and boom, we have, there you go, the South Africans scoring the try. So this is such a beautiful play because, as you can see, the hooker is drawing the defense to him because he has the ball. And as soon as he draws the defense, you can see that split second. That's all you need, is that split second to draw that defense. Pass the ball at the right moment. And then by the time the player is going around the corner to score, the defense doesn't have enough time to recover and make the tackle. So what a beautiful play that was. Even DuPont, for a split second, got tricked on that play, and he couldn't recover as well because he was the closest player to make the tackle. And he hesitated that split second, and he couldn't catch up to make the tackle. So beautiful play that was. It felt like I was watching the NFL on that play. So the second play I wanted to show here is the Italy versus England game. I mean, versus England in round 4 again. And Rifle, I saw this play. I remember watching. We spoke about the play of Finn Russell for Scotland, kicking the ball on the restart and catching the Wales teams walking back to their positions, caught them sleeping essentially, and his teammate was able to chase the ball down and score a try. So that was a beautiful play, and I said at the moment, at that time, that could be a contender for a try, the best try of Six Nations. I forget exactly what they call it. Now, this play is another contender, in my humble opinion, for the best try in Six Nations. And everybody at home is going to see why. So now we have of Italy has the ball. Oh, come on. Here we go. So we have a kick. So here I thought he was going to get tackled. He doesn't. Well, he does, but he passes the ball. Wow.
A little bit of poor defense there by England. The kick
Yes.
was on the money, but one would really expect them to have tackled that 2 or 3 chances to stop that try.
Yes.
But poor defense. So here's number 1. As soon as he gets the ball, there, then there's another play, goes through him there, misses him, runs right through him. So just poor defense, but yeah, spot on try. I mean, well done, Italy. Brilliant execution. And yeah, great try in the end. And that game was so close.
Mm-hmm.
Little margins where you miss 1 tackle. Here they missed 3, and there you can see Italy's behind 16-18, and this try puts them in the lead. So very, very poor defense from England there.
Yes.
But very, very good kicking and game management from the Italians.
Yeah. Yes, it was. And just watching this play, I couldn't believe what I just saw. Like you mentioned, I mean, come on, England, you got to make that tackle. But on the other hand of that, wow, Italy just kept on. And those passes, those, my mind is going blank here. What is the term of passing the ball before you get tackled?
Passing the ball before you get tackled?
there's a term in rugby. I'm forgetting the term in rugby where if you're running, you have the ball, you're about to get tackled, but you pass the ball. You pass the ball to your teammate.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
don't know a
explaining it
specific term
correctly?
before we get tackled. We say get rid of the ball. I don't know if that's, there's not a, I don't know a technical or a term. If you just pass the ball, I don't know what that is. Come back to me when you get the answer.
Okay. My mind's go blank because they actually record that statistic on it's one of the statistics. I might be explaining it wrong.
I'm not
Um,
talking about a phase,
no, not a
not a
phase.
phase. Okay, no, I don't know.
Um, uh, I know once I'm explaining it wrong. I know you know the word, but I'm just butchering the explanation.
No. Maybe handling, how many times they handle the ball.
No,
Because when
it's
you
not
make a mistake,
handling.
it's a handling error. So I don't know the term when you pass it before you get tackled. But as I say, get back to me when you get it.
Yes, I will. My mind is just going blank here, but I know there's a term, and once I say it to you, you're like, oh, okay. I know it's because I'm butchering the explanation. I know you know what the term is. Okay, now it's going to bother me, but let's continue the episode.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
Okay, so let's go to round five here, and this is Ireland versus Scotland here. Um, I chose this play because, well, let me just play here. So we have a line out by Ireland. A maul is formed, and bam. So the key to this play is because even I didn't realize who had the ball. But the key to this play is right here. You have these players right here committing to the maul here. And that was the split second that the ball comes out and scores. Wow, what a beautiful play. Because you had those two players right there pretty much guarding the try line. But the second they committed to the ball comes out and Ireland scores the try. So an amazing play, patience, and the awareness of the Irish player to see that those two defenders committed to the ball, and that's when boom, he took advantage and took the ball and scored the try. So beautiful, beautiful try
Very well
right
done,
there.
Sheehan. As you can see, he throws the ball in, so that then he goes to the back of the line out there, the maul that they're causing there, and then you'll see he
Mm-hmm.
comes from the very left because he throws there, and see now he comes to the very right. So he goes from literally the one side to the other side to steal the ball
Mm-hmm.
and come out because it's difficult to see where the ball is. So they all got their heads in there, and then he
Wow,
goes.
look at
So
that.
yeah, brilliant try. Gibson Park celebrating there in the background.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure a lot. Well, for me at least, I was like, where he come from? Where did the ball come from? Because, like you said, nobody could see where the ball was at. But yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful play. And then we have, um, here we go. We have another Wales versus Italy. Now, this is another play where a maul is right here, and then this is just pure strength. Wales being determined to score a try, and look at that. That's just Wales determined to score a try, pushing Italy back. So an amazing score for Wales, and so happy for them to get the win uh, in this last round. Even though technically they still got the wooden spoon, but at least they got a victory in the Six Nations.
There's a lot
So
of
that's
hope
pretty
now
cool
for
to see.
Wales. They played so well, as I say, against against Ireland, they could have won. They were leading for stages. They were playing well, and they've come back. They weren't a pushover, even though maybe the first two games the big scores against them, but there were definitely some bright sparks in the game that we haven't seen from them for a long time. And then a good thing for them is I believe their next game is against Fiji.
Mm.
So you come out of the Six Nations, you won the last game, so you're on a high. It's easier, nothing against Fiji, but it would be easier to play Fiji in your next game to see if you can build on the momentum that you've built up in the Six Nations than to face, say, the All Blacks or South Africa or France, for that matter, immediately after this again. So I think playing Fiji will be able to show us if they really have stepped up and if they have learned and if they have become a better team after this. So I think that's good for them.
Yeah, yeah, that's very good for them. And as we've spoken before, them having a new coach, Steve Tandy, that is trying to change the situation in Wales rugby. He has a, a, a long uphill battle with the team, but it's the thing is, Rifle is, and we've spoken about this before, is Wales just having those moments where, wow, they're playing great, but for whatever reason they fall short a lot of these games. But man, what a win that was over Italy. And that's the other thing. Before the tournament started, I remember saying that Italy was going to be the best chance for Wales to win. And I was right, not because I knew what I was talking about, because Italy for like 3 weeks said, wow. I was thinking Wales doesn't stand a chance against Italy, because Italy was just playing great rugby over the Six Nations. But I was right, not because I'm smart. I was right just because that's just what happened. Not
Sometimes
nothing to
I
do
think,
with
I
me,
think,
with my analysis of the game.
yeah, I think this is just once again my opinion. I might be very wrong, but in anything in life, but especially in sports and in rugby, you have games that absolutely draw the best out of you. And the week before that game, mentally, that's all you think about. Your whole year has been for that game. And Italy beating England the previous week, and Italy believing they've got a chance, and Italy just the week before just lost when they should have won, so they just on that verge of breaking through, and then they beat England. So their whole game was just elevated the week before. It's very difficult for 2 weeks in a row to reach that mental state of, man, we can do this, and to raise your game and your mood and everything that you do to the level of playing so hard and so well. Another thing that we have to remember, in this Six Nations, there was not the regular week off that we had in previous Six Nations. Now, it works for all the teams. I mean, no one is getting an easier or a more difficult route than the other teams because they all have the same schedule. But in years past, you would have 2 weeks off.
Mm.
So players could rest. Yeah, they're obviously now trying to get the fans there and put more people in the seats and make it more exciting, which worked, it did, but it makes it so much harder on the players. And now, as I say, for Italy, when they beat England, I mean, you saw the tears and they were crying, and you saw England, how shell-shocked they were leaving that field. They didn't know what to say or how to handle that. I always think of the 2019 Rugby World Cup when England played New Zealand All Blacks in the semi-final. And man, what a game that was. But England had to get themselves to a place where they had to go out and physically dominate. So your body's on the line. They had to be mentally sharp. You have to in every game. But what I'm saying is they came out that game, my goodness, you talk about guns blazing. You know, it's almost like one can say New Zealand didn't stand a chance because England just brought everything they had. And then if you think, okay, wow, England has just this young team, they're so good, they're up and coming with Eddie Jones. Next week, they're playing South Africa, which should not have been there, should not have won. Russie's been there for 2 years, all the things that were happening with South Africa. And then we know what happened. South Africa won. But I think it was very difficult for England to beat New Zealand the way they did, to bring themselves to that level of mentality the next week when you play South Africa in the finals again. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I think here with Italy getting to England and bringing yourself to that level of, man, 20 years we have been fighting and struggling and trying and doing, and we couldn't do it. But today we've got a chance. So that whole week before, you get your place, you get yourself mentally prepared to a place, you go out and you win. And now the next week, now you got to play Wales. It's very difficult to run out on the field the week before beating England and now getting yourself to that mental place of, we got to bring our game better than England, to play Wales. It's very difficult in my opinion. And I think that counted against them. It's just very, very hard. Some games you just bring your all. And the next game, without a week rest, without a week of letting the body just go and relax a bit, you got to perform just as good as you did the week before. It's a tough game.
Yeah.
And to get mentally there, it's hard, it's difficult. And it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And yeah, sports psychology is just, it's an amazing thing. Just, I'm not obviously a professional athlete, but I could imagine, you know, just as anything in life, anything that's a tough career, and by tough mean, mentally straining, like a doctor or or a or a lawyer, that's always, in court trying to defend a company or a client or whatever the situation may be, a doctor. All those things require a lot of a surgeon, especially a surgeon, operating on somebody requires a lot of your mind to be locked in. So, it's just interesting to see that in sports, like you say, you gave your all in one game, and now to come back next week and having to give you all again in the following week, it's tough on the mind, it's tough on the body, and yeah, that's just the nature of things. Uh,
Definitely, yeah. And as I say, with this year's Six Nations not having that extra bye or weekend off to just relax, that's tough.
yes, yes, it is. So, with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Just going over the last two rounds of the 2026 Six Nations series. Again, congratulations to France for being champions 2 years in a row. I'm already looking forward to next year's Six Nations and to the set of matches this summer. Uh, what's the set of Is it called the Nations? Do they have a name for all those matches that are going to occur this? I know me and Wifo are going to that to the New Zealand South Africa game in September in Baltimore. We already got our tickets. I'm looking forward to that. So as always, a lot of great rugby to look forward to. Next year in the Six Nations and also the rest of this year is a lot of good rugby to look forward to.
Very much so, yeah. So coming is New Zealand, South Africa, the greatest rivalry.
Mm.
That's what that's called. And then you have the summer series as well. So England's next game is against South Africa. I believe it's on July 4th. So it's going to be a holiday here in America for July 4th for Independence Day. But Springboks are going to be facing England that day. So very,
Amazing.
very exciting and things to be looking forward to for sure.
Amazing stuff. So again, with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, take care, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rugby with Rifle. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet to support this podcast.